Hey, I've got another catalog here that I want to go through. It's been a while since I've done one of these. This is Avon's 1987 Winter Spring catalog, and I will try to get through this pretty quickly, not spend a lot of time, but I just thought it would be fun to do. So on the cover here, it looks like they have the model Paulina Portskova. I think that's who that is. She was a supermodel of the 1980s. And back then, Avon used a lot of, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but they sometimes had celebrities featured in some of their catalogs, so she's not the only one. I think they've had some other supermodels and other celebrities featured in their catalogs. Okay, so let's move on. I love the color here. Of course, Paulina was gorgeous. She still is, and I like what she's wearing. This is one of Avon's fragrances called Fifth Avenue, which I've never smelled before. I'm not familiar with that at all. Okay, this lady looks familiar. Who is that? Stephanie Seymour? Kind of looks like her, but I don't know if it is or not. I know that she was a supermodel in the 90s, Stephanie Seymour. So it may not be her. Maybe it's just somebody that looks like her. Okay, so she's modeling here with some of Avon's colognes. And by the way, I want to say that this is a digital file that I'm looking at. I'm making a screen recording, so the quality may not be that great, but it is what it is. So you might not be able to see it. If I can't see it that well, then you probably can't see it that well. So I just want to let you know in advance. Don't expect too much because it's not an actual catalog that I'm looking at. It's a digital file. Okay, so it looks like this is Odyssey here. I can tell by the bottle. That's the old bottle from the 80s. And I can tell that this is Amari, but I don't know what the other ones are. Okay, let's move on. This is very 1980s here, this fashion. The layering strategy, telling you how to layer your fragrance, how to try on your fragrance. I guess there is a way to apply fragrances so that they last, so that you get as much, so they last as long as they can. I mean, so that you know what I'm trying to say. You want to make them last as long as you can. Of course, not all fragrances last that long. Some of them have more staying power than others do. But you can help them last longer by doing certain things, by applying the fragrance to your pulse points. I'm not an expert by any means, and by layering and using scented creams, powders, that kind of thing. Okay, let's move on. I like what she's wearing. Okay, this is more 1980s fashion. This is Amari, which was popular back then. I think it was first launched in the mid 1980s, so it would have been a fairly new fragrance, or new when this catalog came out. And Avon still makes Amari to this day. So here's Fifth Avenue. I'm not familiar with that. I couldn't tell you what it smells like. Here is this is Amari. There's one called Devotee, and this one is called Vivage. I don't know. I have never smelled any of these. I don't know what they smell like. But Avon has had an extensive collection of fragrances. I think probably well over 1,000 fragrances, if my memory serves me correctly, that it's released since the company was first founded back in the late 1800s. Okay, so this is called Fantasque. I think that's how you say that. I've never heard of it. Never smelled that before. Louis Farode. I guess that's how you pronounce his last name, Farode. So he's the one who created these fragrances for Avon. I don't know who he is. Odyssey, of course, I'm familiar with. So they had a whole lineup of Odyssey products here. It looks like the fragrances, different sizes. Maybe they had like a eau de toilette. Maybe they had a splash. See if I can zoom in a little bit. No, it's not letting me. Okay. some lotion, some sachet, cream sachet, powder. Of course, Avon sells Odyssey now, but they only sell the fragrance and I think the cream and the deodorant. Okay, and here is Night Odyssey, which I've never smelled before. I didn't even know that Avon had a Night Odyssey, but okay. They have a fragrance called Soft Musk. Musky fragrances were very popular in the 1970s and that continued on into the 1980s. So this is Soft Musk fragrance. I guess that's the name of it. I'm not familiar with that one. They had one called Pearls and Lace. I mean, so many fragrances back then. I mean, wow. Avon must have been doing well and spending a lot of money on products and, you know, advertising. You know, they used to have commercials on TV. Like I said, they had, you know, sometimes they would have like big name celebrities featured in their catalogs or supermodels. I mean, not all the time, but occasionally you would see them. And they've had some celebrity fragrances. I don't know all of them, but they've had let's see, what is his name? I think Billy D. Williams. He's a famous actor. I mean, if he's still alive, he's pretty old. But I know that he came out with his own fragrance, or Avon came out with one named after him. And there's been some other celebrities who've endorsed some of Avon's fragrances over the years. Okay, so here's some more stuff. I don't know what this is. I can't zoom in on it. I'm sorry. But you know what? It's still fun to look at the pictures. I think so. So this is Paviel. I can read what that says. So I've never smelled Paviel. Can't tell you what it smells like. Looks like they've got a whole lineup of fragrances. I mean, colognes, maybe splashes. This looks like it's a roll-on, different sizes. Looks like this may be a powder, some cream sachet. This looks like this is stuff for the bath. Okay, moving right along, they have a fragrance called Ariane, or they did have. Back then, they had one called Candid, which Avon still makes to this day. I can only make out Candid. I think they only had one Candid that I can recall. This looks like this is Timeless. It doesn't say, but that looks like the bottle for Timeless. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. This is definitely Foxfire. I've never smelled it before, but I've seen it in the other catalogs, so I know that's Foxfire. And Foxfire, Timeless, Ariane, and Candid. Okay, so they got all these different size bottles that you can buy. Little roller ball if you want to carry one around in your purse to touch up. This is Timeless, so I was right about that. Ariane, Candid. And this one is called Floral Fantasy. I've never heard of that, so that one probably wasn't around that long. A beautiful new world of romantic fragrance, created for the woman who loves flowers, the woman who loves life. Avon Mood Creations. Okay, so these are some of the older fragrances. This looks, I can read this. This is Occur, which I know came out in the 60s. Okay, and it says down here what these are. This is Moonwind, which was, I think, also came out, I think 1970, probably early 70s or late 60s. I think it was 1970 when Moonwind came out. That was a popular one. A lot of people like that. Whenever I go online and I look at the Fragrantica website, a lot of people loved Foxfire back, or excuse me, what am I thinking? Moonwind back then. That was a popular one that they sold for several years. Occur was, some people liked Occur. I think that one was pretty popular. with that kind of logo, that just looks like something from the late 60s. I mean, not that that's a bad thing, but that's just immediately what comes to mind. And this one is Charisma that came out in the mid 60s. That was very popular. And I've smelled Charisma and Moonwind, and they both smell good. I mean, the fragrances that I smelled were older fragrances, probably at least 50 years old. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I thought they smelled good. Not good enough for me to want to wear, just to I have them in those old decanters, those novelty decanters, and I just like to have them because they're pretty to look at, and occasionally I like to just smell them, just to see what they smell like and kind of bring back memories from that time. Not that I'm old enough to remember these times, but you know what I mean. They were still around when I was a little girl, and I know that I probably smelled them on somebody at some point in my life. So they do bring back memories. And of course, Topaz is still being sold today. It's Avon still makes Topaz, and it's a nice fragrance. Um, that one came out, I think, in 1958 or 59. I think it was 59. Um, that was very popular for many years. I think maybe Avon discontinued it for a little while, and then they brought it back. They released it along with some other Avon favorites several years ago. Topaz kind of smells like Chanel Number 5. There's been probably so many different formulations of Chanel Number 5. I don't know what Chanel Number 5 smelled like long ago, but maybe that was Avon trying to copy Chanel Number 5. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Um, because if you look on the Fragrantica website, a lot of people say the same thing, that it smells like at least a little bit like Chanel Number 5. I'm not saying that they're exactly the same and the notes aren't exactly the same, but there's some similarities there. I personally don't like Chanel Number 5, but I do like Topaz. I went to Ulta not too long ago, and while I was there, I sprayed some perfumes on the strips because I wanted to compare. And I also wanted to take the strip that I had sprayed Chanel Number 5 on home to compare it to Topaz, but it didn't make it all the way home, unfortunately. But I just don't like Chanel Number 5. I can't imagine anybody buying that today. It doesn't smell good to me. Not really. It's just so heavy, and there's something so, I don't know, chemical about it. It's just not a pretty fragrance, in my opinion. I don't know what it smelled like long ago. I know that they've changed the formula over the years, probably many times. So the one that women wore back, I don't know when it came out, in the early 20th century. I know Marilyn Monroe said that she loved that fragrance. I think she said that, I don't know, I can't remember the exact quote now, but she wore Chanel Number 5 and nothing else to bed or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I know that she supposedly wore Chanel Number 5. So anyway, I imagine that the one that she wore is quite different from the one that's being sold today. So I don't like Chanel Number 5, just so you know. But Topaz smells nice, and it's much cheaper than Chanel Number 5. And I'm not just saying that. I'm being honest. Okay, there's Sweet Honesty, which Avon still makes today. That was extremely popular. It came out in the early 70s, I think 1974. And it was very popular in the 1970s and in the 1980s. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. So this is more fragrances. I guess these are little samples, perhaps. I'm not sure. I don't know what this is. Maybe air freshener. That's what that looks like. So these are men's colognes for road, for man. American Classic, I've never smelled that. Wild Country, I have smelled that. In fact, my husband has that. Black Suede, it's been around for a long time. My husband has that one. I'm not familiar with this one. Orez Active Fitness System. So what is this? Active fitness system. I guess this is stuff like aftershave, um, facial soap, facial cleanser, that kind of thing. Musk for men. Like I said, musky fragrances were extremely popular for men and women back then. And here we are moving into some makeup. Back then, Avon sold nail polish. It still does today, but the colors that it currently sells are not something that I would wear personally. I mean, some people would, but I wouldn't. I like, you know, colors that are flattering to me, and I don't think any of them that they sell right now are flattering for me, so that's why I don't buy them. Okay, and here are two very pretty young ladies dressed up in 1980s style fashion, of course, as you can see. And here's some popular colors in the 1980s. Hot pink was very popular. And of course, they had different colored eyeliners. I'm sure that's what this is right here. It's like a violet colored eyeliner. This is probably blue. Can't really make it out that well. It looks like it's a dark blue to me. So those were popular colors. I don't know if they made blue mascara, but I know that blue mascara was popular in the 80s, like a dark blue, like a navy blue. I'm not sure if this is an eyeliner or a lip liner. I personally would not wear any eyeliners that had too much red in them because it would make you look tired. It's not a good look, so I don't know what that is. Maybe this here is a liquid eyeliner, which, I like I don't know, the self-sharpening kind of eyeliner is the best. Kind that you just turn, you don't have to sharpen with a pencil, but I'm not really crazy about liquid eyeliners, just because I'm afraid of making a mess. Okay, so they had some pretty compacts. And just here it's just showing you different looks, like if you have, I guess they're showing you different looks for different eye colors. Blue, brown eyes. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, green eyes. I think that's what they're trying to show. I like this one the best. Okay, coordinates, lipstick, blush. Let's just move on to something else, okay. More makeup. Now, if you look at the really old Avon catalogs, like from the 1950s and before that, you're not going to see a lot of eyeshadows and eyeliners and mascara because women did not use that stuff that much back then, believe it or not. All you have to do is just look at the old catalogs or brochures and you'll see that they didn't really have those things back then. I mean, some women wore them, yes, but certainly not all. They weren't used as much. Women just typically wore lipstick, blush, probably foundation and powder, and maybe some mascara. Very minimal eye makeup, if any. So that all changed, over time. Okay, now it's showing you all the colors that Avon offered back then. Seems to be a lot more colors than what Avon currently has. More colors. Pure Care Foundation. So there's some foundation shades here. Lipstick. This is in the days before the internet, just before shopping online. So back then you would have placed your order with your representative and your rep would have dropped those off and you would have paid her once you received your merchandise. That's probably how that worked. She would just write down your order. There was no online ordering back then. You had to order from a rep. Beauty update for dark skin tones. I remember watching a video made by another YouTuber where she was talking about Avon products, and a woman wrote a comment down the comment section, and she said that Avon was one of the first cosmetic companies that made makeup in shades for black women. And by the way, she was a teenager back in the 60s, so she was old enough to remember those times. So I don't know from personal experience, but I guess that what she says is true. Ultra Touch. So this is for fingernails, I guess. Okay, moving on to skincare. Of course, they have all this anti-aging stuff. I'm sure that's a big business. New Avon Collagen Booster Line Controlling Lotion. Bio Advance. Alkalade. Dry to very dry skin. And here we have stuff for younger skin, clear skin, for oily or acne troubled skin. Normal to dry skin, Nutura. Pure Care Skincare. So this is supposed to be hypoallergenic. And this is Pure Care makeup. So they're showing hypoallergenic makeup. One would assume that all of their makeup is hypoallergenic. I wouldn't know why it wouldn't be. You know, I remember I had a friend who visited Morocco, and he brought me some souvenirs. This is a long time ago when I was in college, when I was young and unmarried. And he brought me some souvenirs back, and among those things that he brought back, which was very sweet and very thoughtful of him, was some kohl eyeliner. And I tried to use it because I didn't want to disappoint him, but it made my eyes itch so bad that I had to take it off immediately. I just couldn't wear it. So, in other words, I don't know why, you know, cosmetic companies wouldn't make hypoallergenic makeup. It seems like that should just be standard. Okay, Avon, I'm sure a long time ago it wasn't hypoallergenic, like 50 years ago, 60 or 70 years ago, but once technology has improved, our knowledge about um, the ingredients that go into makeup has improved over time. So surely all makeup today should be hypoallergenic, and even back in the 80s, one would think that it would be everything. Okay, Avon Moisture Therapy. I think Avon still makes this. It's just packaged differently. I think that's Paulina, once again, Paulina Portskova. Sunseeker, so Avon had its own line of sunscreen. It had its own peel-off facial mask. Avon Banishing Cream. Vitamoist. That's something that I think that they made even back in the 70s and probably even earlier than that. Rich Moisture. Care Deeply. Avon doesn't make that anymore. And Silicone Glove, which Avon, I still think it makes a silicone glove. I know it did recently, so I think it still does. And this is stuff for the bath. Tranquil Moments, stuff for the bath. And here we have the Skin So Soft line, which I don't know why they changed the design. I think the original design is beautiful. And here we have Bubble Bath. It still makes bottles that are shaped like that, not exactly the same. They probably don't have the exact same scents now that they did back then, but probably similar. So it still makes these products. It still makes Bubble Bath like this. It still makes Skin So Soft. It just changed the brand, the logo, the design of the bottles, which unfortunately I like the older brand, the older design better. And this is deodorants. The liquid deodorant I think came out in the 50s. originally, and Avon still makes that to this day. It's still a popular product, and I think it's a good product too. The only thing is that the application to me is just a little bit unconventional. You have to use your fingertips. Somebody suggested putting it in like in a spray bottle, the kind of like mini spray bottles that you can buy in the store, like to take on vacation. So I might do that one day. Just give that a try and see if it works. So these are deodorants. Back then they had aerosol deodorant, which I don't think you can buy anymore. Um, I guess they discontinued that. I mean, it's just not being made anymore, maybe due to environmental concerns. I'm not sure. I never knew why people used the aerosol anyway. I always thought the solids and the roll-ons were better. Okay, hair care for all different types of hair, colored hair, gray hair, aging hair, young hair, black hair, silver lights, salon performance. I guess it's saying that that's professional quality. It had brushes back then. There is the beautiful Paulina Portskova. And okay, let's just move on. Jewelry. Avon sold jewelry. It still does. Costume jewelry. Oh yeah, this looks very 1980s here. Very 1980s style costume jewelry. So does that. Oh, and they had pantyhose back then. Pantyhose is something that every woman wore, years ago. I think younger women today don't care for pantyhose that much, but it was just standard. Every woman wore pantyhose. I mean, especially to go to work because it was professional looking. It was more polished looking. Depending on what kind of work, where you worked, what you did for a living, and most people. Well, not everybody, certainly not everybody, but a lot of people went to church. You'd wear your pantyhose to church. So it was just something that was considered to be a necessity. Okay, gifts and collectibles. Avon always had its share of like these little homey gifts and collectible things, which it doesn't sell anymore. The company has totally changed in many ways. And it's got looks like a set of plates here, and bowls, goblets. It's pretty. And some cute stuff for children. Oh, it's cute. This is the decade when the Cabbage Patch dolls were really popular. So even though it's not showing Cabbage Patch dolls, I mean, that just immediately comes to mind whenever I see stuff like this. Muppet Babies. And here's the price list. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed going through this catalog with me. And if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please do consider subscribing because I do plan to upload similar content in the future. Thank you for watching.